All right, so we start with our bodies straight. Our spine is straight, so we're a conduit. So if you're sitting in a chair, you usually want to sit forward a little bit. Our body is relaxed, so you're not limp, but you're also not standing stiff. So you just want to be relaxed. The top of your head, by way, is open to the cosmos, the heavens. So you're acting as a funnel, a channel. It's a white light from the heavens is just filling your body. It's just this luxurious feeling of this warm light flowing through you. And the bottom of your feet, if you're sitting, you want the bottom of your feet on the ground, flat on the ground. And so that is the bubbling spring. And so that is also an acupressure point, and it is absorbing energy from the earth as we're also sharing our energy with the earth. Your knees are just loose. And you can have your eyes closed or open. If they're open, you don't want to be looking down. You want to be looking straight ahead with an unfocused gaze, not dwelling on your senses. So one of the ideas in any type of meditation is we're trying to let go of our sensations. It's hard as a student because you're having to listen to me, but we're trying to dwell within. And we can start by taking a few deep breaths and just relaxing, just allowing any tension, anything you brought in to just melt off your body and into the earth. And you can breathe out your mouth for these first few breaths. Sometimes a deep sigh can be really relaxing. So just a slow, luxurious breath. So just slowing down, allowing our heartbeat to slow down as our breathing slows down, allowing that pause at the top of the breath. And that slow, luxurious exhale. Another pause at the bottom of the breath. And then one more time, just a slow, you're not in any race to be the slowest breath, but just by slowing your breath, it's going to slow your heart rate and slow your thoughts. Then we're going to start focusing on our lower dantian, the area below our belly button. And it is that if you're breathing, you can place your hands there. If you're taking full breaths, filling your lungs, the diaphragm will push on your lower abdomen and you'll feel it expanding and contracting with each breath. And so now you are breathing in and out your nose. Our nose has a smaller opening than our mouth, and that will require us to breathe slower. So we're not gulping in air, and that will help to slow down our heart. And slowing down our heart will help to slow down everything that's going on. We're not in a race. So slow and steady, like the turtle. You can just place your hands at the sides. Your hands are also, the fingertips are sending chi into the ground. And you can relax. You can just take 3 breaths. Last week we walked through the whole body, but just taking 3 breaths and just slowly relaxing, just allowing your whole body to relax from the top of your body to the bottom of your feet. And in Qigong, we tend to do from the top down because Qigong is very grounding. It's a reconnection to the earth. And it's okay if you wiggle a little bit, if you have to move your shoulders, wiggle, rotate, just allowing anything you're holding on to wiggle off into the earth. And we're going to do that clearing, the circle clearing. And so just first, you can place your hands on your heart, or you can keep them at your side, and just feel gratitude for the earth, for Mama Earth, and all beings on the earth, for the food, the amazing food that is provided, the shelter that is provided, and just feel a deep connection with the earth. And especially when you practice in a new place, this is really nice to do. And so you're connecting to the earth, you're sending your roots down into the earth from the bottom of your feet and also from your tailbone. And you're sending your roots, connecting them to the earth, connecting to all living things. There is an underground network where all the roots are actually connected. And then you can even give a tug to help the flow to start coming up from the ground. We're going to place our hands down. We're going to bring them up along our center line. Your hands can face each other or they can face you. And we're going to make 3 circles around, going up above our heads as high as you want to reach. And then as you go out, your hands are facing the ground. So you're grounding again. So this is 3 cleansing circles. We're just cleansing the area around us. And again, your hands can face you or they can face each other. It's just whatever you're feeling. This is your practice. This is your Qigong. And so circling around. Just allowing your breath is just going slowly. You're not focusing on anything. You can even, if you want, if you're standing, you can even bend your knees a little bit to help pull up the chi. Actually, we're going to do 4 circles. I said 3. But again, the grounding stability is in numerology is always 4. So the earth is represented by the number 4. Which is interesting because we're in April, which we count as the 4th month, and it is the month when people start planting. The farmers are planting their fields, so an earth. Then you can place your hands on lower dantian, which is a very grounding point. And taking deep breaths, slowing down. And if this is all you do during the day of your Qigong, it's a really nice way to help us slow down and calm down. And just feel that deep appreciation for the earth and for all that the earth provides for us. Feeling that peace within and without, the contentment and the calmness. And then we're going to move our hands to our heart. And we have to make that connection also to the heavens, to Father Sky, to the cosmos. So just, you can place your hands towards each other in prayer, or you can have them open just a little bit. So it's like you're holding the whole universe in the palms of your hands. And before we do, we're going to do the circles in the other direction, but just feeling gratitude. Whatever your connection is, for the stars, for the sun, for the moon, for the heavens, for the divine. And then we're going to actually go up first. And they've done these experiments where there is actually a grid. They call it the Christ consciousness. And so we're going to send our energy of positivity, of love, compassion, joy, and we're sending it up to this grid that is around the earth. They've actually measured it. And we're sending it and just allowing our love to mingle with the love that is surrounding the earth. And they will often find spikes in this as people feel compassion. When something happens and everybody hears about it, there is that natural feeling of compassion. So again, they call it the Christ grid. And then we're going to change directions now, and we're going to do, you can do 3 or 4 circles. Your hands are facing up, and your hands, I do mine out to the side. And then as they come around, you can either face them down, or you can face them towards you, or you can face them towards each other. But we're doing 3 circles, helping to bring energy from the heavens as we're clearing the energy around us. So like we just did for the earth, we're doing these circles. So I know I said if you just do the grounding one, but it's really nice to do this complementary one. And again, your hands can face you if that's how you feel it. You can also face different directions. I do this in the morning and I always face the sunrise. But you can, at the ocean, just be facing the ocean. You can turn and face a different direction. So do it one time in each direction, which is what I do when I'm at my mom's, because she has amazing flower beds all around. So you can do, again, 3 or 4, whatever you're feeling. And when you're done, you can just, again, just place your hands to relax. You can place them over your heart. You can place them in prayer and gratitude. And take a few deep breaths, just allowing the energy around you. So that is connecting us to the heavens and earth, as well as clearing the area around us, clearing ourselves of any fog we're carrying around, any thoughts. And it's always nice also, especially when we're in a group, you get to move at my pace. I definitely move slower when I'm teaching, so I'm grateful for that. But it's really nice to set an intention. And I read, it's a teacher I've been reading his writing, and he talks about peace and then calmness is the next step. And so peace is feeling that quietness within us. And then he talks about calmness is even the next step. And so peace would be if you're staring at a lake or you're the lake and it's completely, there's no movement. But you would say calmness is then when you can actually have the reflection of the moonlight in the lake, and you can see that moonlight reflected back to you, that you feel this even deeper peace. And so life, our thoughts, things that happen bring us ripples. And so we don't have that calmness of the lake where we can be that perfect reflection. And so Qigong, meditation, prayer brings us to that place of calmness where we can reflect. And in that reflection, it allows us to go within and realize the reflection is coming from within us. And so just setting an intention for peace and calmness. Peace to all the people in our life. Peace to the whole world. And calmness, that we all might be reflections. And then when you're feeling it, you can stay there for longer. Just bring your hands down and just start slowly as you keep reflecting on the peace and calmness. You're going to start slowly lifting your hands on the clouds and allowing them to gently float down on the clouds, not rushing. First few movements. You don't have to go all the way up. This is also a very grounding move because our hands are facing the earth for a good part of it. And so a lot of Qigong's Tai Chi actually starts with this move just one time, but each set starts with this move, and it's a way of grounding you. And so that circles that we just did, you don't have to do them, but it's just really nice. And so this is our hands floating on the clouds. So we're just allowing them to float up. And then your hands just kind of come along. They're loose. They're not limp, but they're not stiff. Your arms don't go behind your back, but your fingertips might. Your elbows are loose, so you have a roundness. And your fingertips, again, even though your hands don't go above your elbow, your hands don't go above your shoulders, your fingertips at the top, as your breath changes directions, may actually go higher. I had one teacher with this move said you should never allow your fingertips to go above your third eye, the point between your eyebrows. And so if your arms come to the level of your elbows, the level of your shoulders, getting my joints mixed up today. And he talks about in the handout of doing it 9 times. But I've already lost count. And you can just do this one all day. Well, not all day, but at any time during the day, you're feeling a need to ground. You can just do this one like 3 times. And each one, make it a little bit slower, because your breath is following the movements, or your movements are following the breath. So as you lift up, you're doing an inhale, just slow. As your hands change direction, that's the pause at the top of your breath, and then you're slowly exhaling. And so if you start feeling anxious during the day, just doing this 3 times, and you can just move your hands just a little bit, but just moving them slowly so people don't even notice. So sitting at your chair. And so your inhale, the transition, and your exhale. So that's hands floating on clouds. And that just naturally opens to the next move, where when your hands reach the level of your heart, you just open up your heart on the mountaintop, opening to what is, opening to the day, and then closing, and then allowing your hands palm down to slowly drift down on the clouds. And as your breath changes direction, your inhale, your hands are lifting up and opening up to the day. And you can arch just a little bit if you feel it, and then closing. And you can pause on that opening more than I just did. And as your hands change direction, that's that slow pause in your breath at the bottom of your inhale. And then opening up. This is really wonderful to do in nature, towards the sunrise, towards the sunset, towards the moon, towards the ocean, towards a tree, and just absorbing, exchanging the energy. And after the first 3 or 4 of that one, of absorbing the sunlight, the energy, the morning, I like to start also sending out. So sending out that peace and calmness that I'm feeling now as I've started doing my Qigong, and sending it out to the world. And you send it out a little bit further each time. So you may know somebody in your life who needs some extra peace and calmness. And so you can just clearly see them in your mind, in your heart, because we're opening our heart to what is. And so just sending out that calmness and peace, sending it out to your whole neighborhood. And then you can expand to the whole town that you live in. So on each one, you can expand that sense of peace. So you're like a bubble. You can be whatever color you want to be of the bubble, but you're a bubble of peace. And you're allowing that bubble, that circle that you're in of peace and calmness to just expand out. So it's this ripple effect until it's covering our whole nation, and that everyone is feeling this peace. And then eventually covering the whole planet. So just engulfing our planet in a bubble of peace and calmness, so that all are able to feel that calmness for a moment. And then expanding it out into the cosmos. So your bubble is the whole cosmos, the whole universe, the whole Milky Way galaxy. And just everything is just filled with your peace and calmness that you feel. And that pause at the top with your arms open, it's almost imperceptible, but it is there. And again, you can arch back. And on this last one, as you bring your arms in, you're going to cross them at your chest. So your arms cross just below the wrist. That's actually a pericardium point. It's and your arms are crossing over your heart. Your hands are along your shoulders if you're able to, just below, not on top, but just in front of them. And you're just feeling gratitude and peace and calmness for yourself. Gratitude that you're here today to find this time, to find your peace within and without. And that by you finding that peace and calmness, it will extend to every person you meet today. Even if it's just in your smile, it's just going to bring some peace and calmness. Your arms will drop and rise up, palms facing up, as we shift into the rainbow. And we carry the rainbow. And so our body is going to rock back and forth. So we're bending. This is a really nice way of waking up our waist. We're just bending to the side. Our upper hand ends up above our head if you're able to, sending chi into the top of your head. And your eyes turn and follow which hand is the lower hand, which keeps going back and forth. And if you're standing, you can actually, as the lower hand comes down, it can come all the way down to the leg. And the other leg, the hand that's up, would bend. So it allows you to go back and forth. And so don't ever overdo it, but if you want to get more into it. And so just play with that. And so you are half of the rainbow. So you're carrying the rainbow, the arc, that everyone loves rainbows. And your arms are round the lower half of the rainbow. And yesterday, as I was biking home, it started raining and the sun came out. And that's when I get to be a true nerd. And I know to turn with your back to the sun, and I saw a double rainbow. So it was my first rainbow of the year, and it was a double rainbow. And so my mom got the picture. One time when I was on my bike ride, because Oregon is wonderful for rainbows, I actually saw 5 at one time. And if you ever get to see a double rainbow, they're always reverse of each other. So one is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo violet, and the other will be the opposite way. And then you bring your hands, I bring my feet together also, and bring my hands down by the knees. Just bring your hands up through the center, above your head, and now we're going to separate the clouds. You need the clouds to see that rainbow, but we're going to separate the clouds. And you can bend down, your hands come in front of your knees, and your hands, again, as you lift them up, they can face you, they can face each other. As you separate the clouds, your hands separate, palms facing down. So again, this is a very grounding. After carrying the rainbow, this is a nice grounding, but it's also lifting up. So we inhale anytime we lift up, and you separate the clouds. And it depends on your shoulders. If your shoulders aren't feeling it, you can even just lift a little bit. It's your intention, your thought. So you're breathing in and then you're exhaling. So we're separating the clouds of our thoughts. So again, it is your Qigong practice. It's up to you, your expression, how much, what you're feeling each day. So some days you want a smaller practice. So we're separating the cloudiness, the fogginess in our minds that we all feel at different times. As your hands are coming down, you're exhaling. Just keep it slow and luxurious. And play with your hands in different positions as they go up and then separate. And your feet are supposed to stay flat on the ground as you go through this, but I do squat down and then lift up if you want a fuller expression. And separating the clouds. And I always spread my fingertips out as I'm lowering them, spreading the clouds. It's just what I feel as I'm doing it. And we'll do one more of those. And I bring them together, and you can have your hands cross each other and face your body if you like. But then they separate and your palms face out when you get above. And then you're grounding, separating all that fog. And you can do one more if you're feeling a need. So we're separating any of those ripples. We're calming them down so we can find the peace. And we'll just pause there. Place your hands on your heart or on your lower dantian, however you're feeling it. And I like to pause after every 2 moves when I'm teaching. And just go within, checking in, abiding in the peace, the calmness that your practice is allowing you to have. Okay, so we're going to do some new moves today. So the next one is, I think, sorting the silk or something. And so your elbows are at your sides, your hands are forward like this, and you're going to be moving your waist, and your arms don't really move. They kind of stay there. They're not glued to the side. There's something in Qigong where they always talk about it, that there's like a tennis ball under your armpits. And they're just saying that so you're not like clenched into your side. So it's just a natural, they say that people want to hold their arms up like that, but our hands are going to move. And so one hand, your body's going to twist to one side, and the side it twists to, that hand is going to point fingertips up, and it's going to push over the other hand as you twist towards the other side. So your body twists as far as you can safely do it. And so whatever hand is moving as your body comes forward, you're not pushing with your arm, it's moving as your body's turning that way. And so the side that's going back, that hand is facing up, and the other hand gives that image as if it's pushing over it, but really it's all in your waist movement. And you're holding a ball of chi between your hands. Just keep going. And so you may feel the connection as you keep doing this. And so they talk about it like silk. If you're standing, you can have just keep your legs at whatever's comfortable. And so some people feel it as a ball that you're kind of stretching back and forth as your hands move. So your hands, they kind of roll around as they change direction. So the top one is kind of pushing forward, and then there's this rolling. And so it just, don't dwell on it. Once you have it, you kind of just feel it. And so they roll, and so the other hand's on top. And then there's this rolling. And so the silk is like a silk scarf. And so you have the silk scarf that's between your two hands, and it's just you're winding the silk, I guess, to make the scarf. So it's like, I guess, a ball of yarn also, you can think of it. And just going back and forth. I like to also think of this one, think of it for yourself, or if I have somebody I know who needs some extra chi, extra love, extra peace in their life, I will also think of them and extend that peace and joy to them that they might need. It's a very slow calming. And again, it's all in the waist. Your arms, it looks like it's in your arms, but it's just your hands are changing direction. So if my waist was not moving, all I would see is my hands going up and my other hand coming up. And so with the waist movement, it looks like there's much more going on. And so as the one hand, as you're twisting, your breath is following the movement. As your hands change direction, you can do just a slow inhale. Nothing, no rushing. And then an exhale as you're twisting around. You can have your eyes just naturally moving along. They're not focusing on anything. We don't want to dwell on our senses. And then this one transitions to the next one. Is awkward initially, but we're going to row across the lake or swim. And so you can do the movements depending on your shoulders. They can be smaller movements, but your arms are doing this roundness together. And so he calls it rowing across the lake or rowing across the river. But you can, I feel like it's more like swimming. And so you can make it a huge move. If you're standing, you can squat down, your hands come by your knees. You can even do that as you're sitting, that your hands, as they push back, they're going past your knees. And you're swimming across the lake of samsara. So samsara is a Buddhist term that means the illusion of the misery or the suffering we all believe that we're in. Oh, woe is me, this and that, that we're pushing that all behind us. And we're coming into that place of bliss, of samadhi, of joyfulness, of love, of peace. So we're swimming out of the illusion. We're pushing the illusion behind us. And we're going to arrive on the other shore. So again, it can be a lake or a river. And you arrive on the other shore. You can place your hands however you're comfortable. We're just going to take a few breaths and just enjoy. The illusion is behind you. All of your suffering, it's not there now. We just have this time together where you just get to dwell in that peace that is within you, the calmness that you are, perfect, calm reflection of the moonlight. And close your eyes and go within. All right. Now that we're on the other side, we're in this beautiful bliss garden or seashore or wherever you are, our next move is we're going to look at the sunlight. So you're imagining this form has a lot of water element in it, and so you're imagining the water in front of you, and you're going to scoop up. You can scoop up a gem, or you're just scooping up the water with your hands, and then you're lifting to the side, and you're going to look at the palm of your hand, Lao Gong, the worker's palace, but again, it's the emperor's palace. And then you do it on the other side. So you scoop up, and we do turn to the side, and we're looking at the palm of our hand. The other hand, want a lot of detail. The other hand, we scoop up, is going to go, if you like, it can just go on your lap. But the full movement is it goes just above, about at the level of your waist, mid back. And that is a point called Ming Men. And so it's a gate, and it's just protecting our chi. Your hand is at the level of your eyes, so you're not looking up. There's no reaching. And if you're standing and you want your body is twisting from side to side. And if you're standing, there is a bending of the knees as you change direction. And the back foot, you turn on your toes, and your back foot, you're on your toes. And so that's where the lifting comes from. And so your hands just, initially it's difficult, but as you learn the movement, this is just a wonderful movement. And so you're looking at the sunlight between your fingertips. So you're lifting up and you're looking at Lao Gong, the palm of your hand, which is healing and nurturing, but also you're looking at the sunlight. And so we talked about that you imagine, you can imagine, visualize that you're scooping your hand through the water just gently, just your fingertips, and then you're looking at that water through your hands and looking at the sunlight. I'm very blessed. The sun is rising, and so every time I turn to the one side, the back foot would be the same as the hand that's lifted. It's like for me right now, it's my left hand, and so I'm on my left toes, and then your feet come flat. And your legs should be at a place where you're feeling comfortable. And so it has that illusion that you're lifting up And so the back foot is, yeah, you're on your toes, and your feet come down and they're flat. The hand that's behind you, that leg is flat on the ground. That foot is flat, giving you the support. We'll do one more in each direction. He also said you can imagine that your hand is holding a gem. So whatever gem you want, which is your heart, your love, peace, and you're scooping the gem and cleansing it as you scoop through the water. And then you're just staring at the radiance of that gem, which is your Lao Gong, which is your heart. So you're just making your heart even shinier, clearing off any residue, allowing it to glow in the morning sun. And then this just naturally goes into now both hands lift up and they face each other, and they just keep facing each other as you change directions. So your legs are doing the same thing. Your body, your waist is turning from side to side, and your hands facing each other. You come down by your knees, bending down, and you're looking now at the moonlight. So the previous one was looking at the sunlight between your fingertips. So that was one hand at a time. And this one is looking at the moonlight between the palms of your hands, between Lao Gong. So again, remember, we're being that peaceful lake. We're allowing the moonlight to reflect. Your hands are not lifting high. Remember, try to keep, it's not a rule, but your fingertips never really go higher than your eyebrows. Your back foot is on the toes, and you are that reflection. Your heart is the reflection, the calmness is perfectly reflecting the moonlight. And so you've all seen a lake where you see the reflection of the moonlight, but it gets kind of distorted because there's ripples. The wind might be blowing. And so the wind is our thoughts. So if we're able to still our mind, even just for that moment, for that pause between the breaths, and allowing that reflection. And it really is just that moment. So the moonlight. And we're going to have a full moon this week, but I don't think those of us in Oregon will, we might see it, because it'll be next weekend when the sun will come out. And then we'll just place our hands again over our heart. And just reflect, allowing your heart to be a reflection of that peace, that you should be feeling a little bit more peace and calmness than you were an hour ago. And the closing for every time